Hey guys, Pedro V here. So we have a lot of activity going on in the skies, on the ground, and into our daily lives. This first clip comes from the Netherlands on December 11th, 2019. The second clip comes from Libya, December 19th, 2019.
تو حاليا في بنغازي بالضبط عند الكورنيش الساعة 12:53 يوم الجمعة تاريخ 20/12 وهذا صوت الحوت.
هذا الصوت منطقة دريانة.
سبحان الله، صوت يسمعوه بالميضة وتوكرة وبنغازي
وبيضة
خليفة وحاليا دريانة. استغفر الله، سبحان الله العظيم، سبحان الله العظيم، سبحان الله. صوته.
Now these noises could be coming from underground, maybe far distance, or it could be the trumpets going off from heaven. Here's another clip from Libya. Again, this is the day after those strange noises were heard. This clip comes from Spain, and this happened yesterday on December 26, 2019. Could this be two suns or something else? Now, just a few days before this, there was a huge flood on December 19th. This clip comes from Iran. A 5.1 earthquake also happened yesterday on December 26, 2019.
Search and rescue operations are underway. Electricity is being cut and people don't have access to water as we speak. Several Persian Gulf Arab countries have also felt the tremor. Authorities say the Bushehr nuclear power plant has not been damaged. The nuclear station is some 160 kilometers away from the quake-stricken region.
Now, just a few days before this quake happened, there was a huge flood on December 19th. And this stuff is happening across the world.
We're going to begin with a deadly storm stretching from the Central Plains and Deep South all the way to New England. At least 14 tornadoes were reported today in Mississippi and Louisiana. Now, that is a rare outbreak in December. One death was confirmed in Vernon Parish, Louisiana. 11 others have died on icy roads in Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri. An avalanche killed a snowboarder in the mountains of Utah. And tonight, the danger is far from over as the storms push east.
Some people who live on Grand Island are shaken up over a series of mysterious bombs that they heard going off. Nobody has been able to definitively pinpoint the source. Channel 2's Dave McKinley says even police are now looking into this after complaints from a lot of neighbors.
Grand Island is pretty much a bedroom community and as such is normally on the quiet side. Apparently not lately.
Well, there's been some booms that have been going on for a while that have had some people concerned to want to get to the bottom of it.
Grand Island's Deputy Highway Superintendent is among those who'd like to know the nature of the mysterious noises that a growing number of residents have reported hearing in the past months.
When that kind of a boom goes off, noise that goes through your house, shakes your windows, rattles your glasses, your molars, you want some answers.
There have been many accounts of this on the Facebook page Grand Ideas for Grand Island. One poster has even assembled a map pinpointing where the noises have been reported at all hours on all days.
And the beauty of social media allows that kind of an incident to be talked about by a lot of different people.
Well, the downside of social media is it's kind of like sitting inside an atomic bomb and splitting an atom sometimes. You know, this chain reaction kind of goes off. He gets that, and he might not be convinced had he not heard it himself.
I've heard it several times, yes.
Including during the most recent town board meeting.
Well, sitting at the town board meeting on Monday, all of a sudden there was a loud boom. Everybody just paused for a second and looked at the windows, and you think to yourself, my gosh, what was that?
Grand Island does have a small town police force, but it is the Erie County Sheriff's Office which handles the bulk of calls out here. And its spokesperson acknowledges they have fielded several on this topic. But as far as answers, they don't have any right now. But they do say people can continue to make reports through the sheriff's non-emergency number. On Grand Island, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
Yeah, look, I'm just in my backyard and I was looking at the sky and I couldn't help but to do a YouTube on this, because if anybody's looking, I'm here in Australia, Oz, we've got a lot of bushfires, but I was just looking at the sky and it's so strange, as you guys can see. That's just, I'm sitting there and it's just getting this really red, pink, this most extraordinary colour in the sky, and as I move around you can just see the difference there. But it's really like end of the world stuff, you know, and it's a bit eerie. And I'll move over underneath my sail so you can just see, and over there is the most brightest pink, pinky orange. It's most eeriest feeling around. So you guys, I don't know what's going on with the atmosphere, whether it's to do with the bushfires, I really couldn't tell you.
Meanwhile, it's the end of an era for Switzerland's nuclear prowess. The Alpine country has shut down one of its 4 nuclear power stations. The Mühleberg nuclear power station went off the grid after having operated for 47 years. Now, this nuclear power station had 373 megawatt capacity and was for the first time kick-started back in the year 1972. It is said that the Mühleberg nuclear power station has generated electricity to cover the energy consumption need of the Swiss capital for more than 100 years.
In orbit beyond the planets. Here you can see the orbits of Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And in that little circle in the very center is the Earth and the Sun and almost everything that you know and love. And those yellow circles at the edge are these icy bodies out beyond the planets. These icy bodies are pushed and pulled by the gravitational fields of the planets in entirely predictable ways. Everything goes around the Sun exactly the way it is supposed to. Almost.
Loud explosions in southwestern Syria once again as anti-aircraft fire lights up the sky. Local media reports at least 3 people have been killed in the strike outside the capital, Damascus. No claim of responsibility yet, but as in many such attacks in Syria, the finger is pointed at Israel. In recent comments, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not really made much effort to distance Israel from such attacks.
We see a growing number of attempts by Iran to use Syrian territory to attack us or to deploy missiles there, which is a threat to us. We are not ready to put up with this threat, and we are forced to act.
Syrian sources say weapon depots used by Iran in its proxies were hit Sunday night. This is an area which Israel targeted many times in the past, usually when convoys from there would make their way towards Lebanon. But this time, the timing of the strike might be more significant. It comes just as Syrian Foreign Minister Walid al-Mualem is about to meet his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. It could be useful for Jerusalem to remind both parties that Israel's interests must be taken into consideration if there's any will to reach stability and finally begin with Syria's reconstruction.
Only rare warning in the Southern California area, a tornado warning.
Yeah.
Ev, I want to ask you, what should people do if they live in the area where this warning is in effect?
At this point, Sarah, take cover, of course. This is not an area where we are used to seeing tornadoes. Once in a while, we do get them here in Southern California. Very minor, usually not making its way on the Fujita scale. But that doesn't mean that we, shouldn't take cover at this point, because tornado is imminent, potentially. So let me give you sort of what's going on here. I know this sounds a little bizarre because we don't really see tornado warnings issued, but I do want to show you that red box on your screen right there. That is, yes, you see it right there, a tornado warning.